In this video clip, we'll show you how to create a basic web page using Notepad. So what I've done is I've gone out to Windows Explorer, and I'm going to create a new folder. I'll call it Demo. And then inside that folder, we'll create our web page. So I'll double click to get in the folder. And we're going to use Notepad. I already have Notepad open, but you can find Notepad in the Accessories folder from the Start menu. And to create a web page, we need to know HTML. Okay, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language. And the language consists of tags or elements that is used by the browser to render the web page. And the first one we'll come in contact with is the HTML tag. All right, and so I'll put that in there, and they have to match. The tags have to be nested properly, and most tags also it's required to have a slash, an ending tag, and that's denoted with a slash. All right, so let's finish this up, and we'll create a basic page here. We're going to add a head tag, right? And I'll come down a little bit, put an ending head tag in here like this with a slash. And these are pretty much standard on all web pages, so you'll be doing this all the time, or if you're using an editor, it will fill these tags in for you because they're pretty much standard. And there's my closing body tag. One thing I do need to put in here is should put in is a title tag. All right, so we'll put the title tag in there, and we'll just say, inside the title tag, we'll say my first web page, and we'll put the closing title tag on as well. Oops, there you go. Now let's save it. Now Notepad's going to want to save it as a TXT file, but we're going to need an HTML or HTML extension. So we want to be in our folder. We are demo, and we'll go ahead and I'll call it default.htm. Usually the first page on a website is either called default or index, and HTML or HTML. So we'll go ahead and save that. And now I'll go out to my demo, refresh this a bit here. Here we go. And we'll preview this in the browser. Okay. And there we go. Now notice nothing appears here, and that's because we haven't put anything in between the body tags. Anything the user sees will be placed between the body tags. But notice the tab has our title on it. All right. So now let's add some content. So I can just say, welcome to my website. And I'll put a bunch of spaces here. Website, and we'll save it and refresh. Notice that the HTML of the browser did not recognize the spaces. Okay, that's because I have to use tags in order to let the browser know where I want to place the text on the page. It's likewise if I did this and put website on a new line in my source code, but then went over here to the browser and refreshed it, it's not going to know. So to do that, I have to put HTML tags. Now, one tag I could use to move something to a new line is called the break tag. Now, unlike other tags, the break tag is self-enclosing. In other words, the ending tag is built into it. There's no beginning break tag and ending break tag like you have a beginning body tag and ending body tag. Another way to do it would be to use a paragraph tag. I could put P and then an ending P tag here. Okay. All right, and do this. Now notice what will happen here is it puts a space there, a paragraph space in there. So that's another effect you could use. Other tags that you can find or use, one of the popular ones to start out with is the heading tags. And there's 6 of these, H1 through H6. This is my website. Okay, and then what you can do is, well, let's just try this. I can type, there we go, H1, and again it goes from H1 to H6, and all this does is format the text in a different size, basically. So if I change this around to 4, you'll notice it gets smaller, but I have to make sure they match on both sides, right? The closing tag has to match, and do this and refresh, and there you go. All right, so that's basically how you create text on a web page. Now, we're going to add a few things in here to make it more standard. So what we'll do is I'm going to bring out, I already have this code, I'll just paste it in. This is called a doc type. Okay, and the doc type really says indicates what version of HTML we're going to use, and that goes in the first, right before the HTML tag. All right, there's the current version is version 4, and version 5, a lot of browsers are now starting to implement version 5. The next thing we want to put in here is we want to update the HTML tag to include a namespace. And a namespace is basically a way of letting us know which library we're going to use. In other words, maybe the H4 tag might have a different meaning in one library versus another library. So we want to make sure we use the right one. So that's basically what a namespace is. The next thing we want to do is we want to add a meta tag in there. And again, you can just copy this in. And the meta tag basically is saying, which character set do we want to use? Well, meta tags can be used for several things, but in this instance, we're going to identify which character set we're going to use. If we're using English, what coding schema we're going to use to write the web page. For the most part, you're not going to have to worry about that. You'll probably just use this for this semester, and we'll probably always use this doc type. By the way, HTML5, the new version, simplifies the doc type and basically just takes off all this other stuff, and it's just doc type HTML. Makes it really simple, but that's not quite here yet. So we'll save this and we'll hit refresh, and notice that there's pretty much no change there. It's just the same thing. Okay, so there you go. Now the other thing we want to do is we want to be able to add styles. So styles also go inside the head section. Notice the title and the meta tags are inside the head section. Anything the user sees is inside the body tags. So to do a style sheet, we can do an internal style block. We'll do type equals text CSS. This is the format for the styles. And we need an ending tag for the style. Right? And there's lots of styles. And again, you have to go out and look at the W3 Schools website, and you'll see all the styles and HTML tags, so you can reference all of those. Let's just say we want the body background to be a different color. You could just type in body, and the style, this is the selector, by the way, background. Background is the selector, or background color you could use. Okay, and then, I'm sorry, body is the selector. Body is the selector. Background color is the property. And then let's just say we want it to be yellow. Yellow is the value. Right? So we'll save this. Because it applies to the body tag, it means the whole page should be this color background. So we'll hit save. And evidently I've typed it in wrong here. Hold on. Maybe it's the other way around. Let's try this. Let's save it. One line of code or one element can make a big difference. You can see how one typo can really screw you up. Most web page editors will have IntelliSense built in, so you won't go through this problem. All right, so that's the basic way to create a style. There's many ways to create styles. You can put styles on any element. Right, I could style the H4 tag, and I could say I want this tag to always be color red. So every time we put an H4 tag in here, the color is red. Right. So if I hit refresh, it does that. How do you find out more about these? Well, what you can do is you can go out to W3 Schools, and you can learn HTML and CSS. So what you should do is click on these links, and you can find, there's a great reference, you can find the whole list of all the tags, if it comes in here, and a list of all the style sheets, or styles. So headings, paragraphs, fonts, all the different things you can use, basic elements where you might want to start off with, right? And then you can go to something advanced with style sheets. Going back, right, you can click on the style CSS3 page right there as well, all right? Another site that will be very helpful, you might want to look into once in a while, is the W3C website. And this is the World Wide Web Consortium, and these are the guys that sort of make up the standards for the web browsers, or for our web pages. All right, so take a look at that, and during your assignment or your exercise, you'll need to look at those websites to come up with some other styles that you can use. For example, if I go over here to a CSS, and let's say I wanted to change the font, well, I could look at how to style fonts. And the nice thing about these pages is it does give you examples. When you scroll down here, you'll see examples of how to use the style, how to put it in. Right? It tells you all about it. All right, so go through here and look through these styles. Right, styling fonts, style links. I can go back one more, and it'll take me back to the whole list of styles. I can pick another style. You know, colors, tables, how I can change display, things like that. All right.